Think Outside the Lines is a space for anyone ready to stop checking boxes, to step off autopilot, and create the life you actually want, with clarity, intention, and alignment. Whether you're questioning the default path, rebuilding from scratch, or just looking to feel a little more like yourself. How many times have you said some version of this? I just need to figure out what I want first. Or, once I have a clear plan, I'll start. Or, I'm still figuring things out. I've said all of those, many times, and every time it felt reasonable, responsible even, like I was being smart, like I was being strategic, not rushing in, thinking it through. But here's what I've learned, and it took me a long time to learn it. I need to figure it out first is one of the most effective ways to never start. Not because you're being dishonest, you genuinely believe you need more information, more clarity, more certainty before you take the first step. And it makes sense. We're taught that the sequence goes plan, then act. Know what you want, then go get it, figure it out, then begin. But that's not how it actually works. Not with the things that matter most, the career change, the creative project, the relationship conversation, the move, the thing you keep circling around but never landing on. Clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from doing something, even a small something, and paying attention to how it feels. It's counterintuitive. We think we need to think our way to clarity. But clarity is a byproduct of action, not a prerequisite for it. Think about the best decisions you've ever made, the ones that actually changed the direction of your life. How many of those started with a crystal clear plan? How many of those started with a perfect strategy, a 5-year vision, and total confidence? Probably none of them. Probably they started with a feeling, a pull, a quiet sense of, I think I need to try this, without knowing where it would lead. And you did it anyway, and you figured it out along the way. Not because you were reckless, but because some part of you understood that the only way to know was to move. That's how clarity works. You don't think your way there. You move your way there. So why do we get trapped in the figuring it out phase? Because figuring it out feels safe. It feels productive. You can spend months, years, reading books, listening to podcasts, journaling, making lists, having coffee conversations about what you might do. And it all feels like progress, but it's not. It's preparation dressed up as action. And at some point, preparation becomes procrastination. And I'm not saying don't think. I'm not saying don't be thoughtful. I'm saying don't let the thinking become the thing. Because here's the trap. The more you think about it, the bigger it gets. The more you analyze, the more variables you find. The more possibilities you explore, the harder it becomes to choose one. And eventually, the decision that was supposed to get clearer becomes so overwhelming that you do nothing. And you tell yourself you're still figuring it out. What if you let yourself off that hook? What if you gave yourself permission to start before you're ready? To take one small step, not the perfect step, not the final step. Just a step. Something that lets you feel the ground underneath you and learn something you couldn't have learned by thinking about it. Apply for the thing. Have the conversation, write the first page, sign up for the class, send the email. Not because you know where it leads, but because the act of moving teaches you something that sitting still never will. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to figure out the next step. And usually, you already know what that is. So I'll leave you with this question to ponder. What if you don't need to figure it out first? I'd love to hear your answer. Drop it in the comments, send me a message. Wherever you're hearing this, let me know. And thanks for being here. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Choosing to step off autopilot and think differently about your life takes work, and I don't take it lightly that you're here. If today's episode resonated, the best way to support the show is to share it with someone who might need to hear it. And whenever you're ready to go deeper, whether through free worksheets, guided audio reflections, or one-on-one coaching, you can find everything over at thinkoutside.thelines.com. Be well, and I'll catch you next time.